Hey friends, Matt here with Be a Bit Better. One of my favorite things in the world is that there are people out there right now coming up with new products. Either something we've never seen before or something that makes improvements to a product that maybe we use all the time. Love it. And I especially love it when that happens in an area or an industry that lets me take advantage of it. So with that said, I want to show off a brand new curling brush head that I got over the weekend. This is from Endgame Curling in Madison, Wisconsin. And it says on the website it's the first curling broom manufactured in the United States. So that's pretty cool. And they're trying to solve issues or problems that exist with pretty much every other curling broom on the market. So I'm going to show this off a little bit today and talk to you about how they're going to solve these problems. The neat thing about curling is when you first start out, you don't need any of your own equipment. You can show up in hopefully a clean pair of shoes, and the club will provide a slider, a little Teflon piece that you slide on, and a club broom that you can sweep with and that you can slide with. I started curling in Duluth, Minnesota, and our club brooms were called brownies. It's like this big loaf of bread piece of foam on a heavy chunk of wood with a handle. And for somebody like me, it was really good for sliding out of the hack. I'm not that coordinated, and I wasn't strong, and I wasn't really good at sliding at all. And so it helped me to have a head that didn't move around and something that weighed quite a bit and was fixed, and it just felt good to slide with. But eventually, you don't want to be out there sweeping with one of those big, heavy, clunky things. So you get your own curling broom. And when I started, this was kind of the industry standard. This is known as a performance style curling broom head. This is Balance Plus's version. This is their EQ head. And it's a lot better for sweeping. It pivots, so you can sweep at some different angles. You can replace this head. So when this guy wears out, you just loosen these little knobs and you put on a new one. And it's a lot lighter than the brownies that I learned how to slide with and how to sweep with. So better for sweeping, but for somebody like me, not better for sliding. I had one, and it wasn't this one, but I had one that was so loose that I would slide out and it would flip over on me. And so I really missed having a fixed head to slide on, a fixed curling broom head. So for years, I've been sliding with a horsehair, because when you mount this on a handle, it doesn't pivot. It reminds me a little bit of what I learned with one of those old brownies. So what Endgame has done is they've taken a head that pivots around for sweeping, and listen, I'll see if you can hear this. Oh, it goes this way. Ready? It locks into place. So now it's taken a pivoty head that's great for sweeping, and it's made it a fixed head when you want to slide. Pretty cool. I love it. It's a great idea. The other thing, and this sounds a little bit weird, this is a personal preference, but with any of these, this is the Goldline Air. This is what you slide on, a little piece of plastic here. Same thing, the Balance Plus EQ. They've got a little sliding surface. This is the Air X from Goldline. It's coming out this year. It's got an even more pronounced sliding bar. And here's the IcePad from Hardline. That's got a sliding bar on either side. And that is less friction. It's nice because it's usually made of, this is kind of it's plastic, but it feels sort of Teflon-y, and all these are plastic. And so it's a lot less friction than if you were to slide out on, a pad or something like that. But the downside, for me anyway, is it's loud. All of these, when you slide out, as it drags across the ice, drives me nuts. So again, what Endgame has done is they've come out with this kind of industrial strength sticker that covers over the sliding bar. So you lock it into place. This is going to be your sliding surface. And that sticker is going to reduce, ideally, that scraping noise that happens. It's also nice and rounded too, so you're not going to catch the pebble. Some of these, depending on the angle that you have it when you slide out, it can scrape some pebbles. So sometimes you'll see somebody slide out and you're looking out of the hack is a big trail of pebble that they have, kind of wore off of the ice. So this nice rounded bar, I think, is going to help with that. And the sticker is going to keep it quiet. So 2 problems solved. You now have a fixed head and ideally a quiet sliding bar. Very cool. The other thing that they're hoping to solve is the amount of waste that you end up with. Now, most companies have moved away from these really big pads. Hardline is just this little cover. You replace that, so that's pretty cool. That's very little waste. But like this got plastic in it, it's got foam in it. So if I were to use one of these up, And if I don't have a way to recycle it or do something else with it, I'm going to throw this whole thing in the garbage. That's not good. Goldline, this is the Air. It's less waste, I guess, than this, the one from Balance Plus, but it's still, there's plastic in there, it's foam in there, it's a ton of staples. And so what Endgame's going to do, I'm not going to take the time to completely pull this apart, and I'll pull this part off, and I'll show it to you, but I'm not going to take the whole piece of fabric off. But they've just anchored this fabric down here. So all I have to do is peel off this fabric. There's no fasteners. It's just got, you can see it's got holes punched in it, and then the holes fit over these little posts. And I can take the whole thing off, and I can just replace this fabric. So I'm not throwing away the foam. I'm not throwing away the plastic. It's just this little piece of fabric. And it doesn't take, it looks like it's a little complicated to get on there, but it really isn't. It goes fairly fast. It's not going to be as fast as, say, like the Goldline, the Air. You just take a little screwdriver and pop that off, and you take the new one and slap it in there. But, I mean, we're talking about changing a curling broom head. It's not a NASCAR pit stop. I mean, you don't, you could do this in a minute with the Endgame. And there, now you're back. Take that, snap it back in there, and now I'm ready to go. So that's the third thing that they're solving, is we're not throwing away a lot of foam and fabric and plastic and staples and everything else. And the other thing is, right now at least, it's really reasonably priced. It's backward. It's $23 for one of these guys. Even Hardline, these are like close to 20 bucks for a piece of fabric. Right now on the Endgame website, it's $13 to replace this fabric. I hope I have that right. If I don't, I apologize. But it's a reasonable price, I think, to get a new piece of fabric. So we're solving fixed head. We're solving noisy sliding bar. We're solving a lot of waste. Seems pretty good. I know this review is lacking because I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. We don't have dedicated ice. It's also June, so I have not gotten a chance to slide out on this guy. So all of this is, remains to be seen as far as the quietness and then how well that locking head works. It feels really good. I don't think that's going to be a problem. The noise, we'll see when I get it out on the ice. I don't know when that'll be, hopefully soon. And it fits on a lot of different handles. You can see here I've got it on a Goldline. This is their Air. And the nice part about it is, it's getting a lot to show you, but the Airhead goes on with this little bar, or this little, it's like, if you ever set up an easy up tent, it's like the little quick release button. Well, that just slides in and goes and locks into a hole on the brush head. Well, it just so happened that the Endgame screw is exactly where that Goldline hole is. So that's pretty nice. I had to wrap this with one wrap of Gorilla Tape. Otherwise, it was a little bit wobbly in there. But now it's perfect. Oh, and the other thing that they do too, there's a screw there, and it comes with this little wrench. So you can use that, so you can decide how much pivot you want. If you like this super loose, you can do that. If you want it tight, you can do that. So it's got a lot of cool things going on. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get it out on the ice. I'm excited to have a brand new broom manufacturer in the market. I think it's going to be really cool. So I just wanted to show this off. The customer service was awesome. Croy from Endgame Curling, I had questions about would it fit the Goldline. I had questions, I kind of geeked out on him a little bit, like how noisy will it be? Does it lock down nice? And he's super responsive. So I'm excited about it. So I wanted to show it off and just let you know these are out there if you haven't seen them before. Oh, one more thing before I forget. Size and weight. I almost forgot. That's really important, I think. Because that was one of the things, like everybody's going for a super light curling broom, right? Everybody wants it to be lighter. Lighter the better. And this Air, where did I put my Airhead? This guy, you can see the size. Endgame's quite a bit bigger. That was the thing that struck me when I first took it out of the package. I'm like, whoa, that thing's big, right? So weight-wise, this 43.5 grams heavier than this. So it's given up a little bit of weight, right? But if you can lock it in place and slide quietly, to me, that's worth it. But if we start talking about some of the bigger heads, I mean, this Air head that's a tiny little brush head, right? If we talk about, if we get a little bit bigger, this is the Air X, right? A little more comparable in size. Endgame, 14.5 grams heavier than the Air X. So now we're getting really close, right? And Hardline IcePad. Again, you got a bigger sweeping surface, not much, but a little bit bigger with the Endgame. This is only 9 grams lighter than Endgame. So now we're really getting close as far as weight goes. So weight-wise, you're not giving up much weight, especially if you're used to Hardline or if you've got something larger. I mean, like this big lug, this is heavier for sure. I didn't weigh this one because I just could tell by feeling it, but I don't use this one anyway, so that's not really, I don't care that this one is heavier. But this is right in there as far as, you know, the Air X goes, and as far as the IcePad goes, it's pretty close as far as weight. And you do get more sweeping surface. Not a scientist, I can't tell you that that's going to make a huge difference, but weight-wise, boy, it's right in there. So anyway, that got a little long because I love to geek out about curling gear, but I wanted to show this off and just let you know that it's out there. And like I said, without having without having used it on the ice, I can't tell you yet about how well that locking mechanism works and how quiet that's going to be, but feels really good. And it's going to let me carry only one broom as opposed to dragging the horsehair around. So thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.